This is how I study. Gonna do a top view. Okay, so this is the kidney, right? I'm going to break it up into 3 sections. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the arteries first, and then the veins, and then the structures. Okay, so this is the kidney. Let's do the artery. We have this one right here. This is the renal artery. Okay, renal artery, and then it goes into this long red one, which is the segmental arteries. Okay, segmental arteries, renal artery. And then once it gets inside or between the pyramids, it becomes the interlobar arteries. And then once it curves up on top, it becomes the arcuate arteries. So arcuate arteries, interlobar artery, segmental arteries, and then renal artery. Okay, now these little ones up here, okay, all the little red lines up here, or arteries up here, they are called the cortical radiate arteries. Okay, interlobular arteries is the other name. Interlobular arteries or cortical radiate arteries. And then right here is the arcuate arteries up on top. In between the pyramids are the interlobar arteries. Down here is the segmental arteries, and then the renal artery. Now we're going to talk about veins, okay? Veins is basically the same thing. Alright, we have the renal vein, which is right here, the blue one, renal vein. And then we have the interlobar veins. It's up here, interlobar veins. And then arcuate veins. Arcuate veins. And then of course the blue ones up here are the cortical radiate veins. Cortical radiate veins. Cortical radiate arteries. Arcuate arteries. Arcuate veins. Interlobar arteries, interlobar veins, and then segmental arteries, renal arteries, renal vein. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about the structure a little. Alright, so the cortex. Alright, the cortex is this part up here. The cortex. Okay, the region. This is the cortex up here. The cortex up here. Medulla region is this area with all the pyramids. Okay, so this is the medulla with all the pyramids. The cortex is up here. Okay, now we have the renal hilum or hilus. Okay, the renal hilum or hilus is this part right here. Okay, renal hilum or hilus is this part right here. Okay, it's basically where the veins and the arteries and ureter enter and leave. Okay, so it's right here. Okay. Renal pyramid are these renal pyramids. And then we have the renal papilla, which is the nipples. Renal papilla. Renal papilla. Okay. And then we have the renal columns, which is in between the pyramids. Renal column, cortex, medulla. The renal hilum is where the veins, arteries, ureter enter and leave. And then we have the renal pyramids. And then the renal papilla, which are the little nipples or the end of the pyramids. Renal column is in between the pyramids, renal column. The minor calyx, right? The minor calyx is this region right here. Minor calyx is this region right here. Okay? And then the major calyx is this region over here. Okay, major calyx, minor calyx, renal papilla, renal pyramid, medulla, cortex, renal column. Okay? And then over here is the renal hilum. Okay, renal pelvis is next. Renal pelvis is this part right here. Renal pelvis. And then, of course, the ureter. Ureter, renal pelvis, renal hilum. Okay, and then this is the major calyx, minor calyx, renal papilla, renal pyramids, renal column, medulla, and the outside is the cortex. Okay, and again the veins. Okay, this is the renal vein, renal artery, segmental arteries, interlobar artery, interlobar veins, arcuate arteries and arcuate veins, and then up here the red ones are cortical radiate arteries, blue ones cortical radiate veins.